How low could Bitcoin potentially go? How about a bottom at the $10,000 mark? Intriguing, isn't it? In today's discussion, we're delving into the insightful perspectives of Gareth Soloway, a self-taught technical swing and day trader with over 2 decades of profitable trading experience. Soloway suggests that the big money, the institutional investors, are starting to view Bitcoin as its own asset, much like gold. This recognition could very well be a game changer for Bitcoin's market position. But what about the buzz around the approval of a spot Bitcoin ETF? Soloway predicts this could cause a temporary run-up in price. However, he also anticipates a significant pullback on the charts. It's not all sunshine.
Say we really get in a bad space within the equity markets and everything else. I do think that there is ultimate demand for Bitcoin. I think the digital gold aspect of Bitcoin is slowly being adopted more and more. It's in its infancy at this point, but I do think that if you look at max pain, where the most people would be washed out, where bottoms are created, I do think that that would be right at that 10,000 even number. And I would be buying like crazy if we got down to those levels again. And I do think, again, now that you're seeing people like BlackRock's CEO starting to talk so positively about it, granted, they're talking their book, we have to be recognizing that since they're bringing this ETF to market. But I do think that the big money out there is starting to accept Bitcoin, and that's the beginning of it becoming its own asset, just like gold. When we had that fake news that hit about the approval, where Bitcoin jumped from about 27,000 all the way to a high of 30,000, what that made people recognize is that there's going to be significant upside when the spot ETF gets approved. And so what we saw a lot of short covering and a lot of buyers coming into the market. And essentially what we're doing is we're rallying Bitcoin higher going into this approval, which means we're factoring in that news. And so what's interesting here is you'll probably get approval by year end or early in 2024. If Bitcoin is still up here, you may not go higher. It may be already factoring in the approval, and that's again what we're seeing in the charts right here. In general, it's very possible it could be a sell on the news, and depending on how high we go, I just draw everyone's attention to NVIDIA last quarter, right? Last quarter, NVIDIA going into earnings was at $400. It rallied up, and on earnings, it opened at 500 and change, and then it sold back down to 400. So you have this kind of tendency for psychology within markets and investors where they start to get excited about news, and they start buying and buying and buying. But once the news comes, there's kind of this natural letdown. And that's, again, what we could be seeing on Bitcoin here.
So what level would we hit resistance? If there is approval, where do you see Bitcoin going, and where do you see it hitting resistance on news of a spot Bitcoin ETF being approved?
Yeah, so let's just say that it does jump, and I think initially you'll see this positive reaction, this kind of momentum trade jumping in. I would take this high from 2019 and connect it through the bull market lows, and there's this beautiful trend line. You can see how it connects right through these lows perfectly and right through these lows, and that gives us around a target potentially. This would be my max upside of about $47,000. But again, what I would be doing there is I'd be looking for it to fade that and actually expecting a bigger pullback off that level. Halving is a great fundamental factor within Bitcoin that is important over the longer term. But if you get such a run up on this news, like let's say on the spot ETF where it pops up immediately, I think it doesn't matter about the halving. You'll still see a pullback on the charts. I think it's right along with those lines, either late this year or early in January of next year. It's coming. The SEC has lost every major case against crypto, and so they really don't have a leg to stand on to say no anymore, especially with Grayscale. So I do expect the approval, and I think it'll be the approval of many ETFs at once. I don't think the SEC wants to look and say, oh, they only approve BlackRock because that's, part of the, people say like BlackRock's part of the government or they're in cahoots with the government. So I think they don't want to portray that. So they'll probably approve multiple ETFs at one time. I think, again, price is the predominant factor here. And if you get to these levels or as high as 47,000, there will be people that got caught in the bear market decline that were even buying as high as the 40s, 50s, and 60s in Bitcoin back in 2021. And they will be happy to get their money back and they will cash out. And I also think that a lot of these institutions that have ETFs have probably been accumulating for the last couple months, knowing that eventually approval will come. And so there may not be as many buyers for the spot ETF as you think. You have to say that the action in Bitcoin has been tremendous right now. What I'm curious is once we get this news out that the spot has been approved and that news is behind us, what's the next narrative to drive price? Is it the halving? Does that play into effect? And then ultimately, what happens if the stock market goes down 35%, like I've been talking about? At some point, fear and panic will take over even in Bitcoin holders. Remember, there's a lot of people that hold Bitcoin like myself that also have big stock portfolios. And if at some point I'm down huge, do I start to panic and start selling everything? And I think that's the worry that could drive us back to 15 or even lower if we get really in a bad space within the overall asset markets. If we look at the Bitcoin chart, we've broken above this previous high right here, right? This was right around 31,500. So as a technician, I have to respect that. And that level now becomes support. So if we pull back, that's actually a buyable level now around 31.5, give or take. However, it would be very, very concerning if we started trading back below that. So this level is almost now the line in the sand on a bull case. You have to hold this level. If you start trading below the 30,000 level, for instance, you then start bringing into account maybe going back to 25. If 25 breaks, maybe going down to 20 and then to that 15.7 low. So right now, the buyable level is 31.5. Let's see if that holds on any sort of retrace.
Shine and roses, as they say. The approval of multiple ETFs by the SEC is another factor Soloway believes could drive the price of Bitcoin higher. He suggests that institutions have likely been accumulating Bitcoin in anticipation of this approval. Now, let's talk numbers. Our expert analyst predicts a potential retest of the $31,000 to $32,000 zone for Bitcoin by the end of this November. Despite this short-term prediction, Soloway remains bullish about Bitcoin's long-term prospects. For Bitcoin to reach a staggering $150,000 in 2024, Soloway says we need two things. Firstly, the SEC needs to approve some spot ETFs. Secondly, we need a supply crunch from the Bitcoin halving. Speaking of predictions, Soloway forecasts that Bitcoin could reach north of $100,000 within the next 3 years. And that's not the limit. He suggests there's potential for even higher levels. The more money in the system, the better for Bitcoin and gold, according to Soloway. These assets perform well under inflationary circumstances. So there we have it. Gareth Soloway's expert insights into the potential bottom for Bitcoin, the impact of ETF approvals, and the future of Bitcoin in an inflationary economy. Fascinating food for thought, wouldn't you agree? This is your daily crypto signing off. Remember, the world of cryptocurrency is as exciting as it is unpredictable. Stay informed, stay savvy, and happy trading.
Let's continue our discussion with Gareth.
One of the things that I did recently, and I'll just go over some of the trades in my service that I've given out and done with my members, is there was a trend line here, right? So if you look at the high of Bitcoin, which was, this happened to be when the Ripple news hit, right here, and then we started to sell off from that point. By the way, that's a good example of sell the news event. The Ripple news came out, and then we actually ended up selling off. So you see how this trend line kind of gets tagged multiple times. Once we broke out above it, I went long Bitcoin for a move up. Now, once we hit 31,000, this resistance, I sold half the position. And then once we hit 34,000 here, I sold the other half. I then flipped it into a short at 35,175. And I'm now riding it on the short side, anticipating a retrace to this 31.5-ish level. So again, and just for everyone watching, remember, I'm a trader, I'm a swing trader. So this is kind of my bread and butter, these smaller moves. But again, that is the way I'm trading it and have been trading it. So if you're someone who just is not going to look at Bitcoin for the next 10 years, then honestly, anywhere in this range, I think is good. I do think it's a north of 100,000 within 3 years. I do think, again, it has much more higher levels that it can achieve as well. So obviously, entry is nice to get. So I would say if it pulls back to this 32 to 31.5 level, that's where your accumulation zone. But again, the key is always don't invest more than you're willing to lose. You just never know about any asset out there. So just be careful. Talk to a lot of Bitcoiners and maxis. They're telling you $1 million. I mean, I think I'm more realistic, looking at the market cap of gold and how Bitcoin is slowly growing into that. I think down the line it matches gold, but I don't think in the next 3 years it probably gets to those levels just yet. So I think 100,000, give or take. If we just want to talk about maybe that next level, I'll just show you guys this chart here. This is our weekly. So let's zoom out on our weekly. And if you want to just find a trend line that kind of tells you, simply take a trend line from the last bull market high to these bull market highs in 2021. And then if we kind of zoom out, we can see where that level is. And again, if we extend that out and just keep on running, you can see it's starting to approach $100,000. So again, that would kind of be the ankle or the angle that I'd be looking for that next target to be. So I think the key is going to be this, is that longer term, the more money in the system, the better for Bitcoin, the better for gold, all of those assets that are kind of anti-inflation or do well under inflationary circumstances. But I do think that if the Fed gets in a pickle and you see all assets collapsing and they're cutting rates because it's a mess, it's Armageddon in the economy, then you could see that sell-off occurring at the same time. Remember with COVID, when COVID hit in March of 2020, gold sold off and Bitcoin sold off. So you have to remember that panic is panic. It's the biggest emotion we have. It's the craziest, the most intense. And that if we did have that scenario, you could still see Bitcoin.
In the dynamic world of digital finance, acquiring the right skills is crucial. Whether you're looking to amplify your crypto portfolio or level up your crypto DeFi and blockchain knowledge, extraskills.courses is your ideal guide. They offer practical guidance to help you traverse from novice to professional in this exciting crypto journey. Take a moment to appreciate our sponsors.
Welcome to the future of finance with Extra Skills crypto courses. Our seasoned experts, veterans of the crypto game, are here to decode the complex world of cryptocurrency for you. Our comprehensive courses cover everything from blockchain fundamentals to advanced trading strategies. Here's the catch. We're offering a limited-time exclusive discount on our crypto courses. Get access to these invaluable resources at an unbelievable discount of more than 50% off. Hear it from our students who've already transformed their financial futures. I turned a small investment into a profit machine. Thanks to Extra Skills, I'm not just trading crypto, I'm trading success. Don't wait, the crypto market never sleeps, and neither should your ambitions. Click the link below to access our exclusive crypto courses. But wait, there's more. We urge you to take advantage of this incredible offer. Click on the link in the description below the video to get these courses at a discounted price. Don't miss this Extra Skills, empowering you for crypto success.